video is sponsored by EA. Thank you for EA for gifting me early access to this pack. Hello my little storm clouds and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today we're doing a treehouse build. This is not what I actually had planned. I was trying to do something else and I was having some complications, so this is why I ended up going with this instead. So this tree is actually found in debug. I believe it is a debug item of the actual, there's a house that's built on top of a tree. And the tree is massive. I actually sized these pieces down. It comes as 5 pieces. There is the trunk and then 4 branches that come out. And the good thing is with these branches is when you hover over them, so you're looking into the room from that side, you can see here, look, the branch disappears. So it is still 100% playable because of it disappearing like that. Because this is something that's actually on the other treetop build, I have a feeling they've done that on purpose. So when you move over with your mouse, they disappear. So yeah, this one wasn't my plan for this build. I really wanted to do like multiple houses that linked together with bridges, but I wanted them to be rounded. But I don't know if it's just a glitch that I was having when building, or if it's something to do with the version of the game I have, because this is not the full version of the game with the early access. I couldn't pull out the rounded rooms, and I did even have problems with the rounded balconies here. I couldn't like pull them out and stuff. There was like had an error on them, which is something I've never had before. So I don't know if that's something to do with my version of the build, or if this is going to be a problem when the full release comes out. I will have to test that out, because I haven't had any problems in my normal Sims like folder. But I'm hoping when this comes out and there is the update that there isn't any problems, because round rooms are already a nightmare as it is. I'm hoping they're not going to be any worse. So yeah, the idea for this sort of one that I ended up going for, I went more rectangular, but I really wanted this glass pool on the side. I just thought it's like a really nice infinity pool. Since this is a new update to the base game, you can have clear walls, so you can place this around a pool and it looks so pretty. I wish that you could sort of change the trim a little bit different. I mean, I technically could with other packs, but there was only one trim in the base game. And I didn't quite like this with the brown coming out, but I didn't like it with the white. Brown sort of fitted best with the rest of the build, so that's why I went for that. So it might work better with other trims. I'll have to wait and see. I also did not add any stairs or ladders coming up here. This is a fairy home. With the fairies, you can get your fairy to fly there, and it's more of a similar thing to with Realm of Magic, where you see them zoom off with the broom and then they disappear, and then you see them come down on the broom. It's the same with fairies, which is a little bit annoying. You don't see them fully fly to that area. They will just like magically appear and slowly flutter down. So that's the only annoying thing with that. I really wish they did a full flying animation up to that area. That would have been really cool. And I did add a door at the bottom of the tree to look like you could go in, but it's not actually functional or anything like that. But if you're not putting a fairy sim here, which I don't know why you wouldn't, because it's a very fairy-esque build, you can teleport them up there with the shift click. Or you could add a set of ladders going up to one of the balconies if you really wanted to, and just do them in a wood tone, because I will pop this on the gallery. I'm saying that to try and make sure I remember to, because I always forget. So I've done this over 3 floors. On the bottom floor we have a kitchen and a living area and a bathroom. I do wish I added another bathroom upstairs. I might go back in and add it, but you won't see it in this build because I didn't add it. But I think I need one up there, and there is room. And then on the next floor up I did a bedroom. Oh, there was also a dining table in the kitchen because it's a fairly large kitchen. And next floor up is the bedroom, and then on the floor up above that is more of a workroom. I popped a desk in there as well as the apothecary table and just bits like that up there. I didn't go massively overboard with the interior decorating. I mainly focused on the outside, and I tried to do a lot of like bringing the outside in and did some plants on the inside. It's very, very open. I used a lot of archways instead of it being fully walled off. So even though this isn't exactly how I wanted it to turn out, I still really did enjoy it. I would love to do something from Lord of the Rings. I'm thinking something a bit like Rivendell would be amazing to build, but I think I'd rather do that when I have all of my packs back in the main game, because I just feel like I could get a better sort of look with it than just using this pack. So I definitely want to do something like that when I can, and that will most probably be a part of my fantasy save file. I don't know what world to do that in yet. I do think I'd need a really large lot, so I need to think of a world that has a large lot and it sort of would work in. And I still really do want to do like a fairy village treetop situation, which again I might try before the pack comes out in this version of the build, but I'm not 100% sure yet, because I just want all of the packs. I really like having loads of options with the decorating so things don't look samey. But I think with the fairy treetop village I'm going to go for very different colours. This, I went for very nature inspired colours, lots of like browns. I also implemented blues, reds and pinks. So the reds is just along the balconies you can see on there. And then I added a lot of blue with the mushroom shelves, which are great for just decorating on the outside. I just sized them up, and I did add a lot of wisteria, which I ended up keeping in the purple. I wasn't sure whether to or not, but I just really love wisteria in the purple, so I ended up sticking with that. I also really love this like mushroom eyes as I liked, but they're in the just the ceiling decoration thing, but they do light up. But you have to raise them up to get them to the correct height. I think they're set as short wall height, so I just raised them up there, and I do end up changing them to a blue tone nearer the end. I really wanted to use this like backdrop thing. It is a bar back, and I was like, where do I put it? And I did end up placing it in that corner, but I slightly changed and altered it a little bit to fit a little bit better there, and I did end up putting the bar in that section too. And I wanted to place the swings up here. Might not make any sense having swings this high up, but I'm like, it's fairies. I'm like, they wouldn't fall off. They would just use their wings if this was like a real life situation. You can see with all the mushrooms on, I absolutely loved adding these mushrooms. I just think they look so pretty, especially in that blue colour. Honestly, the majority of my time was just decorating the outside of this with as many different vines as I could find. And like I said, there is the wisteria, but there's also this other one. I don't know actually what it is. It's just called Blooming Veils. And I put these around the doors because they fit perfectly around the doors. And I obviously had to add the new roofing decorations. This roof is a really odd shape, so it would only let me place it in certain areas. On a standard roof, they sit a lot better and you can pick a lot more places. This is just because of the odd shape that I've done here, so that is a my bad. But I really wanted to have a little bit more of an irregular shape with this. And I really struggled with decorating the inside with this. There is not many indoor items I would say for this pack. It is mainly focused towards the outdoor, which does make sense. And with only having base game and not having a lot of things that quite matched, I did struggle a little bit. There was a few things where I'm like, oh, I wish they added this. But I just did my best. It was really, really basic decorating on the inside. Nothing exciting. I didn't add much to the walls or anything like that. I kept it really stripped back. Also just the fact that there is all the new like sleeping outside and under the stars, that sort of thing. I'm like, you don't need that much on the inside. You can like bathe in the water and stuff like that now, so you don't have to do it in your house. Again, just adding lots of greenery and a lot of these mushrooms around the place. I did add a few of these mushrooms indoors as well, but not as many as I would like. Going back now, I think I would do more. But before this is uploaded, I could go in and alter things slightly. And I really love this new sofa. It is so pretty. I want a sofa like this. Really, really nice. And I do change the orientation of this very soon. I think I change it because of the way I have to put the stairs in. I forgot about the stairs. I always do this. Put your stairs in before you do any decorating and work around those. So I do change this slightly. So this is when I realised I haven't put the stairs in. So I put the stairs in and decide, right, I'll decorate the kitchen around the stairs and then I'll work out what I'm doing in the living area. But then I wasn't sure on where I wanted the stairs, and I ended up moving the stairs to in the living area, but coming up and making the living area a square wider, I think. Because I just couldn't get these stairs to work in where I wanted it, and I really didn't want to add the ladders, because if you are having a family here, your toddlers can't go up ladders and your sim can't carry a baby up the ladders. So I was like, it's best to have stairs in here. So I did want to add the stairs, even though they can do the basically teleporting. I was like, no, just in case, because child sims cannot be fairies. They are a fairy, but it won't show up until they're a teen, I believe. I think it's a teen when you can become a full fairy. And then I was like, the tree needs something, it's so plain. So I added the wisteria to the tree. I just sized it up a couple of times. And I also then was like, well, I've got wisteria here. I've got the mushrooms on the house. So I ended up adding a lot of mushrooms as well. And I added a ton of these around the base of the tree. Sadly, I could only raise things so far up. So there's a point where you can see the mushrooms don't go any higher and the wisteria doesn't go any higher, which is a little bit annoying, but I didn't have tool mod installed with this being not the full version of the game. I don't know if it would break it because it's not quite the full game, so I didn't want to add it just in case. And then sadly, because there is no plants in the plant section or trees, I had to look in debug to find these, which is really annoying that they don't have these in the main plant section or tree section, and you have to go looking through debug for them. But I added a ton of these mushrooms. I went for the blues and the greens because I just thought they went well together, and a few of these other weird looking plants as well, and just did them in like patches, and then added bushes around them to make them fit in a little bit more. Like at first it just looks random, but then when you start building stuff, adding more greenery and smaller foliage around the larger pieces, it starts to come together. And then I think the big thing is right at the end doing terrain painting. So I did some like pebbly paths going to certain sections, and then around all of the trees and the mushrooms and the plants, adding dirt around the base of them and just setting the softness really high up so it's really thin and fades out nicely. Also adding rocks around the place can really help it look a little bit more natural as well. I also added some of like the little fairy court houses in here as well, and you can technically use them like they would be if they were in the world. Once I was happy with everything down there, was that I still need to furnish. I hadn't fully finished, also forgot to put a fridge in, so I added that. Just thought I also haven't added a bin, so I need to go ahead and add that as well. Like I said, I really did neglect the inside because I was having so much fun decorating the outside. So if you want, you can get rid of all the furnishing in here and just be more creative than I was. I don't even quite like the layout of the inside of this. For me, it was just all about the outside. I did quite like the bedroom. Again, I really just wish I added a bathroom up here. I definitely had the room to do this. I wanted to create a sort of floating bed with a floating wall between it and have the wardrobe on the other side. But I wish instead of a wardrobe on the other side, I decided to make a little bathroom behind here and add the wardrobe somewhere else. There's definitely enough space in here for that. And like I said, I might go back in and edit that before I upload to the gallery for you guys, because there is so much room here. I put the mirror in the corner. I could have done this at the other side of the stairs next to that mirror. And I did add a few more blue mushrooms in here. These blue mushrooms do glow a little bit. You might have seen it in the start videos. They look so pretty. And I did add a ladder coming up to this section because I thought this section's more just for adults. I did add a fairy home up here because I was like, it's a good way to get up your fairy's needs. So I was like, perfect, if you're working, you need to get your needs up, just pop that there. Added the apothecary table, and I did go in debug and get loads of different potions out and pop them all over these shelves. I don't know why I just went for a blue look in here. I think it was sort of to match the blues that we've got going on. I have like the blue roof on the building and added little elements of blue going throughout, but not fully. You know, a toilet up here could have been a good idea as well. Instead of like having to work and go down a set of ladders and then a set of stairs just to use the bathroom. So I wish I'd have added that. I tried sizing down that bar back again, but the image that's on the inside stays big. I had a feeling it would do that, and it did. And that is because it is like slightly animated. And then I was like, what do I do on this wall? I can't have windows here because it is within the roof. So I just added like a gallery wall, and I think I did end up adding some plants going along the wall as well, just to finish it off. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!